Hello, everybody. This is Professor Berkow, and you have found the website for Canvas for English C1000. That is the introductory freshman composition reading and writing course for Shasta College. Used to be called English 1A, and they've recently changed the name, but it's basically the same course. We're teaching you how to write in a formal, scholarly, academic voice, writing a college level research paper, those kind of things in this class. It's a foundational course that will help you with every single class that you're going to take beyond this one, no matter what your academic major is. Now, if you've taken online courses in the past, every instructor uses Canvas slightly differently and designs their courses slightly differently. So it may take you a while to get up and running, but you'll figure out my course within the first couple of weeks. If you've never taken an online class, don't worry. We're going to ease into it. I'm going to give you many opportunities to experiment around the first few weeks, and really the entire course is set up for success. I use a mastery grading system, which means I'm really pushing hard to have my students master the skills that you need to succeed in college. I'm going to give you many opportunities to see my feedback, get feedback from the Writing Center, improve the level of your work. It's up to you in the long run what rubric scores you get on the essays and the research papers. Some students choose to not revise after getting feedback, and they're the ones who end up with the C's and the D's, and students who get the whole idea that you receive feedback, you think about the comments that the teacher made, and then you have a chance to revise and improve your work. Those are the students who are going to earn the A's and the B's. And if you want to see yourself in that group, just be patient, work hard, take your time, and you will make it. I really don't like grading on what they call the curve system, where the big bubble is the C students, and then very, very few people get an A. I mean, that's okay for teachers who like to grade that way, but I prefer to look at it that every single one of you has the potential to be an A or a B level writer. And the more that you keep growing, the more confidence you'll gain as a writer. And you'll see that built in to the design of my course. Let's get right to it and take a look at how the course is designed. I'm going to share the page with you, and this is the image that you will see when you first land on my class. This is you're probably already seen this because you're watching this video, right? But there's a welcome mat, and there's the weekly learning modules, and there's resources. Let's go to the top here. If you click the welcome mat, that will give you the information to welcome you to my class the first week. And you won't need to do this after the first couple of weeks, but just so you know, the syllabus is here. The syllabus is very important in every college class. It's essentially a legal contract between the teacher and the student saying, this is what you got to do to earn a passing grade or a B or an A or whatever in this class. It has a whole bunch of warnings that, don't do this and don't do that. A lot of that is legal stuff written by a lawyer. You'll see that there's a very distinct difference between that language and the teacher's writer's voice, which is really friendly and encouraging. So, read that syllabus document with that in mind. In fact, later on in the semester, we will discuss writer's voice and see if you can pick out my voice in that syllabus and the voice of the lawyers. I bet you it'll be really easy to see. I have advice for success in this class. If you want to succeed, I'd recommend you read that. And then something about the first week. So click on all of these pages here and read them. Let's go back. You can always go to the home page in the upper right hand, upper left hand corner. This is left. So see the cursor is moving around there. I'm going to click home, and we're back to those graphics that you see. By the way, every week there's going to be new announcements, and they'll float to the top of the course on the home page. Read those announcements. For instance, right here, you're going to have your class ID for Turnitin. That'll be there. I haven't put it in yet because there's more than one section of class. And there's an important comment here about my policy towards artificial intelligence, which is very simple. I do not endorse the use of artificial intelligence for anything. And boy, I could go on a rant about that, but I won't. Do not use artificial intelligence in my course. It will lead to a bad grade. Um, and I'll explain more of that in future modules. But anyway, getting back to what we have going here. Let's go down here and click resources. This is really, really important. It will be up there all semester long. Here's the course resources section. There's even a little message that says, what is this resources section? And it will explain to you what I'm trying to do here. But you can always go here to find, for instance, a link to the Ask a Librarian Zoom appointments. If you use that service and you want to find it, it's always up here. Here's another link to the syllabus. Here's all the due dates for your essays and research papers. If you ever forget what they are, it's always here. Here's a link to the Writing Center, and we're going to have numerous opportunities to work with the Writing Center in this class, where you're going to write a draft of an essay, and then you're going to be able to earn an extension of the due date of that essay if you work with the Writing Center. I will not require you to work with the Writing Center, but it's a good opportunity to get feedback and revise, and we'll talk about that more later too. Let's go back to the home page. Click on the home page here, and let's go to the most common thing you'll do, which is to go to the weekly learning modules, and that's this graphic right here. You click on that, it'll take you to week 1, and my course is set up pretty easy to understand, and it's sequential, so it's like a book. I wouldn't recommend, if you were reading a book, to read chapter 3 and then go read chapter 1 and then go read chapter 7. Some students do. They just kind of poke around at random on the class, and then they get lost and they can't remember what they've done and what they've forgotten to do. So I would recommend this every week. Just start with the first page, just like it's a book, and click on that page. It will come up. There'll be some stuff to do. There'll be some writing. There'll be a little video in most of these where I'll be talking to you. Click on there and I'll explain some of the same stuff that you're reading here. On the bottom right hand of every page, see where my cursor is swirling around there? If you click next, it takes you to the next page. Then you read this section. At the bottom of this section, click next, and so forth until you get through the entire week. And I might even recommend reading through the whole week really quickly and then going back to the top and rereading it, doing it one section at a time. Let's go back to the learning modules and take a look at the big picture. So there's week 1, and then the end of week 1. And here's week 2. And see these little icons here. These are discussions. You're expected to participate in the discussions, and then a few days after you put something in there, you'll see my response to your discussions. There's lecture content areas. That's much like attending a lecture on campus in person, only there's written material and me talking to you on video. And it's pretty easy to follow, right? Here's week 3. And so if you have logged on and you click that homepage thing in week 3, you're wondering, where do I go? Go to the learning modules, weekly learning modules, and scroll down until you see the 3rd week. And there you are in week 3. Okay. In a lot of my sections, because this is an asynchronous class, they'll be like end of week 3, something's coming up in week 4. And, you know, in my course, I recommend that you spend anywhere from 15 to 18 hours a week on the course. If you've only spent 5 or 6 hours and you got some extra time, I highly recommend working ahead, because the semester goes by pretty quickly. And if you start to slip behind, if you have worked ahead a little bit, you get the flu or something like that, it's gonna come out kind of even out. Everything will be okay. And believe me, in the fall semester, just about everybody comes down with some sort of virus or bacterial sniffle infection or whatever. So you can kind of plan on it. It makes sense to work ahead of time. You'll see some textbook chapters and videos. This is from a book that I wrote. That was, I know it's like, oh boy, the teacher wrote a book, but actually, my book has been used by literally thousands of teachers and millions of students. It was actually distributed by PBS television. There's a series of television programs with some pretty interesting people. I'll let you discover that as you get to the programs. Um, the uh, the textbook chapters all have the video built in them. I'll click one of them so you can see. This is the textbook and chapter and video called Persuasion. And if you click on this, it will come up as it takes a while to load up here, but here it is. There's Persuasion. And you can launch the video by either clicking there or using a QR code and scanning it in there. There's also a place to click right here, and the video will come right up and you'll be able to watch it. And it goes with the chapter. So, the chapter is a bunch of writing, and every once in a while there's a graphic. Um, but for those of you who respond better to learning through video or hearing a teacher talk at you or to you, the video is a pretty good substitute for that. So some other things to know about the course. Let's take a quick look here. Again, the weekly learning modules. I will have some quizzes from time to time. The first week is a syllabus quiz. Coming down here, there'll be another quiz or two showing up if I scroll through. Well, let's see, the next one may not be for a while. I don't have that many quizzes in the course. Here we go. Here's the required quiz for the definition essay. So make sure you take those. The grades on the quizzes are not that important in your overall course grade. In fact, many students are used to taking online courses and the course grade is displayed at all times. But my course is not designed like that because this is a writing class, and your grade is kind of a moving target, because if you turn in an essay and it's only a C-level essay, you do have the option to revise that essay. And so the grade really means nothing if you're going to go ahead and revise and improve it to earn a B or an A. My suggestion is to always look for your feedback when the essay has been submitted. In this course, it's a writing course. It's not a jump through the hoops and earn points kind of course. And the writing is more than 80% of your grade. There's 4 essays and a research paper. And it's a course to teach about writing, not to, do exercises and earn points, although there's some of that there. And actually, you can keep track of that by looking at your class participation score, which is this little icon right here, and you'll be able to see how you're doing in class participation. There's a couple of other things. As long as we're looking over here on the left-hand margin, these are things that you should know about. Shasta College Library resources, a really good resource for you to go to if you want to use the Ask a Librarian service and get some help with research. Office 365. This is a suite of Microsoft products that includes Microsoft Word, and you have access to this for free as long as you're registered in this course. A link to the Writing Center, Tutoring and Learning Center, and chat down here. You don't have to worry about that, but basically I have my office hours and sometimes my students pop in and chat with me, but they find it much more convenient to just send me an email. You'd be surprised how quickly I answer. I am very, very good about answering emails. And it just doesn't make any sense to sit in my chat room for an hour. Nobody's there staring at a blank screen. So once in a while we communicate that way, but I'm online so much. If you send me an email at 10 o'clock at night, I'm likely to respond by 10:05. Try it sometime and see how quickly I respond. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and bring on my full face here so you can see my smile and hear this final message from me. I want you to succeed. That's really important. And I want you to have fun with this course. And I don't want you to have a lot of anxiety about the grade. I think worrying about the grade gets in the way of your learning. And I'd rather you use the course to bring meaning to your life. For example, you will be able to choose your own research paper topic, pick something that you really care about, that brings meaning to your life because you're in the library reading about something that you're curious about or care about a lot. Okay. And we'll have some exercises to show you how to select the perfect topic. This is a pretty good overview of the course design. If I, if I go into it too much deeper, this is going to be like one of those 2.5 hour long videos. Everybody's falling asleep by the end of the movie. So what I would suggest is I'll end this now. Yes, there'll be a few questions that you have. Do not hesitate to send me an email. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Let me think about that for a minute. Well, maybe there are some dumb questions, but I won't make fun of you. Sometimes I have had students ask me, how long is a 3-page essay? And I have to say, oh, well, 3 pages. But it's 3 pages, double spaced, not single spaced. So that's not a dumb question, really. Maybe a better way of asking the question is, what is the correct MLA style for the length of a paper? And what do you mean when you ask for a minimum of 6 pages? Is that, how wide are the margins and so on? So, you know, I am friendly. I will never scorch you for asking a dumb question. Go ahead and send me some questions and send me an email and introduce yourself. Let's get to know each other. You'd be surprised at how well distance learning courses work if you take the time to connect with the teacher and with your classmates, okay? That's enough for now. Have a good time with the class, explore the first couple of weeks, and if you don't understand something, don't hesitate to send me an email and ask, I can't find this, where do I look for that? And I will answer, okay? See you in the next page.